I'm just curious, why the Army? Like, why that
100%.
branch?
I want to take an extra second here and answer this in a way that I don't know if I've shared on a public platform. This has been some recent reflection that I've gained through some prayer and some analysis, because the reason why I wanted to join the military was largely fueled by 9/11. I was a 19-year-old college football player, watched it happen, was really pissed, and wanted to be part of our response. That's been my stereotypical answer to the question, why did you decide to join the military or the Army or whatever? And while that is true, what I can tell you, and this kind of relates to what I was just saying about on that physical spectrum of development, wanting to create this capability so no one would mess with me. And then later in life, particularly when I got into college, I started to fill out and I was actually able to do these things in combat sport, boxing, wrestling, martial arts, weightlifting. Like I created this like physical dominant entity, and I took that into some pretty horrible directions. And I was doing some work for some people that I'm not so proud of as I look back on these, on my life. The reason why I share that context, man, is because I don't think I knew it consciously at the time, but I am firm in my position that it was a subconscious component to my desire to serve in the military outside of 9/11. Was I felt like I had this like 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 debt to pay society based on the amount of pain that I had inflicted on people. Like I had a penance that was owed. And I'm going to take this capability that I've been wielding into some pretty horrible directions for the last 3, 4 or so years. I'm going to put that into a place of positivity, of positive returns that is in service to my country. And if that costs me my life, then I might deserve that. And I'm okay with that. Why the Army? Good question. I did want to be a SEAL. Like I knew I wanted to go into special operations, and that was it. My career was not intended to be a career. I wanted to get in, get to the tip of the spear, kick some ass, and then get out and figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. That was the game plan. Cool. Who's at the tip of the spear? Navy SEALs. Comes to mind for a lot of us real quick. Not so ironically, they are brilliant with their marketing and their messaging. So it's done very strategically.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of SEAL buddies. I'm not your typical, Green Beret who's going to just like talk shit about all of them all the time. Although we do have a very typical kind of brotherly relationship where we do talk shit about each other. We compete,
Right.
but then you put us in the same environment on the same team and we dominate as a unit. But I did want to be a SEAL because I wanted to be like the baddest dude ever, So I walked into a recruiter station in downtown Boston, and in the same building, they had the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Army. And I went in that order. So I walked right into the Navy office. I'm like, I want to be a SEAL. He's like, perfect. Well, we got to get you into the Navy first, and then you can request to go to Buds and do that whole thing. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. And I left. I went to the Marine Corps office, got the same answer from that guy, left, went to the Army office, and I got a different answer. And the Army recruiter was like, hey, we got this program called 18 X-Ray, Special Forces Recruit. It gives you the chance to bypass any kind of conventional Army service. You go straight into the SF pipeline, take you about 1.5 years or so, give or take, and then you become a Green Beret as your first job. I was like, well, that's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't really know much about what Green Berets did. John Rambo and, movies and John Wayne, like I didn't have much to go off of. So I didn't make my decision then. I went home. I did some research. I'm like, what do Green Berets do? Unconventional warfare. Ooh, that sounds kind of sexy. Like, what does that even mean? And ultimately decided to go that route. So I went the Army route because the X-ray program, one, it gave me the fastest route to get into active service in special ops. But then I was also really drawn to the mission set of the Army Special Forces. Unconventional warfare, albeit a very sexy term when you kind of unpack it, that to me was interesting. So I was interested in the mission, and I was interested in the speed in which I could do it.
Did you graduate college, or did you get out early to go into the military?
I did graduate. I did consider getting out early, like right after 9/11. Ultimately, I did stay in. I did grind out my degree, and then I came in after.
Well, here's my next question then. What made you decide to go enlisted and not go in as an officer?
Yeah, I love this question. There's two answers, man. One is the 18 X-ray option is not an option for officers. So if you want to be an officer, you got to go into the Army, you got to serve some time, conventional, and then you can drop a packet and then come over. So that automatically almost made it a non-option for me. But the second part of the answer was, and this is somewhat accurate, although not entirely. Back then for me, I didn't grow up in a military family, like not then. So I really had not a lot to go off of. Officers were the guys behind desks telling other people what to do. And the enlisted guys were the guys that were going to do the thing. And again, that's not totally accurate. There are definitely officers that will get their hands dirty and do things as part of their function or part of their personality or character or like whatever. So that's not totally true. That was just my interpretation of it at the time. And I didn't want to be a dude behind a desk. I wanted to be the guy out doing the thing. So it was, I wanted to do the work of an enlisted guy
Mhm.
and I wanted to do it as fast as possible. Boom. There you go.
Yeah, and the reason I ask you is I think a lot of people don't realize how different it is to join as an officer, at least coming out of college and going OCS route. I know the Army's a little different than the Navy, but then trying to go into special operations, it's way different on the enlisted side than the O side, and I don't think a lot of people realize that because Navy, I joined the Navy, I went OCS and then went to Buds, but most of those dudes were coming from Annapolis. And hearing you talk about the 18 X-ray program since I've been in the Navy, that makes way more sense, man, to just say, okay, I've got a clear path. I know exactly where I'm going versus, oh, no, just join the Navy. Then maybe we'll give you a shot at Buds and then you're on a boat somewhere. Yeah, I totally, that totally makes sense. But I was just curious, man, because I knew a lot of guys that were enlisted that had college degrees. And so I was just curious. My father was a warrant officer for his career, and he encouraged my brother and I both. He said, "I'm not telling you what to do, but I recommend joining as an officer," just because he saw it from a different light. So, yeah, I was just curious what your take was on that.